And we're back. Welcome back inside the Let's Not Do This podcast for May Day, what used to be called International Workers' Day, I believe, in some parts of the world. Chris isn't here right now because he's out celebrating that communist holiday. You got the big O, Leon Oliver, alongside one Scotty Too Hottie on my far left, as usual. How are you, sir?
Good. Almost didn't recognize you. It's been so long.
Oh, yeah. Well, I also trimmed up the beard a little bit, like look like an actual human every now and then, and also had to it's like hot as hell outside, and I get home, I walk in, and you know me, you've been over my home before. I keep it quite chilly in there, but I've realized at this point that I'm getting old, Scotty, because I am cold in my home. I have put on pants, pajama pants actually, and a hooded sweatshirt to traverse my home this evening. I am officially an old man.
They say dress for the job you want.
Well, dress for the job you want. I could be dressing for Bill Belichick's job, but my hoodie doesn't have any mustard
Yeah,
stains or holes in it
a
yet.
hole. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to that here in just a little bit. The rundown for our topics this evening: Bill Belichick. I guess you could say no. Well, I was going to say being cuckolded, but we don't know if anyone else is banging that girl. So maybe he's not being cuckolded, but being dominated by his young girlfriend, and some weird stuff going on with interviews there. Shedeur Sanders gets a prank phone call from a very unlikely source on draft day. And then, of course, the topic du jour. I guess there's an NBA player named Tyrese Haliburton, and his father got into it with one Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah. Well, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah, we'll get to that a little
Or
bit later.
yeah,
Yeah, just
yeah.
setting the scene of laying out what we're going to talk about here.
Yes. Since you don't watch much NBA, Tyrese Haliburton, point guard for the Pacers. Him and his dad. Well, not him. Just his dad got into it with Giannis after the game.
Okay, well,
Pretty pretty wild scene.
we'll talk about that here in a little bit here, and you'll have to educate me on what all parties involved are because I'm a red-blooded American male. I don't watch the NBA, but hey, apparently TV numbers are up.
Or
So
you're
I guess
just or you're just lame.
my brain cell and IQ are higher than 54. So uh,
I don't
most
think it is.
most NBA fans aren't. So we'll see. We'll talk about that here in a little bit, and also get into the weird news and the 151st running of the Kentucky Derby is coming up on Saturday as well. We'll get into our picks for that. No Derby Bass this year. I don't know where he is actually. He may be dead. Who knows? We're losing show members rapidly here, so I don't know.
Did he bet on the wrong horse?
Yeah, he probably did. He probably broke his ankle somewhere in Ding Dang or something like that. But we'll get into our Kentucky Derby picks, and then Chris will join us later whenever his work release program is done. But Scotty, let's get into this here. Bill Belichick, of course, the head football coach at the University of North Carolina. Though you may not know that he is, because every time I see the fucker on television, he's wearing like Navy or the Patriots or something. Have you ever seen another team's coach where, and I get it, Navy is Navy, Army, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, Marines. These are service branches. I get it. Um, the Marines, obviously, they're part of the Navy, so they don't have their own academy. But it would be like if you saw Dawn Staley, acclaimed phenomenal women's basketball coach at South Carolina, if she did an interview and she's wearing a UVA hoodie. But yeah, she went to UVA. She's an all-time great. But it would be weird for her to wear a Virginia hoodie in an interview. Belichick, every time I see him, he's got a Navy hoodie or something that's not North Carolina on.
Well, you can wear a Navy hoodie with pride. You can't do that with UVA. So that's a bad example. I see what you're saying there. I think it being Navy just makes it different. If this is a regular college, I don't know. Did he go to another college?
I don't know where he
Bill
went.
Belichick?
I know his dad coached at Navy. I don't think he went to Carolina. His dad coached at Carolina too. I'm not sure where
Well,
he
yeah,
went to college.
if he went to East Carolina, let's say, and was wearing an East Carolina hoodie, then yeah, that would be different. But it's the Navy. They don't count. You can wear that.
If I'm paying you, what is it, $10 million? I think it is North Carolina's paying him. If I'm paying him $10 million, you're putting on any damn thing that's Carolina blue with that Jordan Jumpman logo on there. Bill Belichick is a proud member of Wesleyan University. He was a Wesleyan Cardinal, Division
Okay.
three school. He played center and tight end. He was there from 71 to 74. Which, by the way, that's a hell of a center and tight end. Was center just a nice way of saying he was like a glorified long snapper or something? Obviously, football bodies are different now than they were then, but those two body types don't necessarily translate center and tight end. But I digress.
Well, he just blocked a lot, probably. Probably
Well,
ran the wing tee.
well, now his girlfriend's doing all the blocking. What's her name? Jordan J
Jordan
O
something. Is it Hudson?
Hudson or whatever, and there's like a O in Jordan. It's spelled all like weird and jacked up, and maybe that should have been our first clue, Scotty. That well, the first clue that she's dating a what is it, septuagenarian? She's in her 20s. That should have been the first clue. But this girl may actually be batshit crazy. Uh, she is literally controlling Bill Belichick. I don't know if you all saw the CBS interview, in the little snippets that came out where he was being interviewed on CBS Sunday morning, and she kept interrupting the interview over and over and over. Um, and she was talking about selective editing of the interview for their. He's got a book coming out, and I guess this is part of the book tour. I don't know. The whole thing is weird, and what are your initial thoughts when you saw that clip going around of the interview and Bill and just how she was reacting toward him? What were you thinking?
Yeah, I saw like a quick, like 5, 6, 7 second snippet of it. The initial thought is, yeah, she might be a nutbag, and then second thought was, why is Belichick wearing that hoodie? Like that's bad for even him. The hole and like the collar, and yeah, it was bad. But and then third is Belichick okay? Like, is she running his life, and is he a prisoner? But he might like all this. He might need somebody that can jump in and say, no, we're not talking about this, because he's not one to want to talk about much more than what he came to talk about. But I do think it was funny is like when they asked how they met, like that was the tipping point. Like, oh, we're not talking about this. So what that probably tells you.
Are you implying? Well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and take the bullet for you. There may be some sugar daddiness involved, maybe some sugaring
Yes,
on one of these sites.
exactly. She is all of a sudden a real estate guru now. So
Yeah.
thanks to, I'm sure, his starting cash. So you saw the video a couple weeks ago of her at practice, and I thought that's no big deal. She we don't know what she's doing. She's just walking around practice talking to people. She could be doing anything. But now when you add this, it's like, all right, man, what are we doing? Like, is Belichick really like putting everything into coaching, or is he just living his life with a young girl?
Yeah, that's the thing. He's making $10 million. Obviously, he's got unquestioned power down there right now. Because who in Chapel Hill? They've never had a ton of long-term success in football. Who in Chapel Hill is going to tell Bill Belichick what to do? He's got a smoking hot 20-some-year-old girlfriend. The guy's on top of the world. He's living every rich guy's dream. Every rich guy that is like CEO of a company that gets divorced, all they want to do is hit golf balls and bang 20-year-old chicks and get investment properties and make a lot of money. Bill's doing it, except he's actually working. I don't know how much golf he's playing. He's actually working. But I don't know. I don't know how much coaching he's actually doing, because every time I look, he's at this awards thing or in New York at this, or I don't know how much time the guy actually spends in Chapel Hill, to be certain. But it is weird, man. And if that thing doesn't work, he is just loading up on all the ammunition for people to come at him. And maybe he's playing 4D chess, man. Maybe he wants people to think I'm not paying attention to football. Maybe he wants people to talk about her and everything else and not be focused on who they're bringing in, and maybe trying to bring some guys in under the radar. Maybe he wants that distraction over here and not what I'm doing on the field. It just seems bizarre for everything that we know about Bill Belichick.
Yeah, or maybe it could be a potential if he gets a few games in and he's like, man, college is not for me. Maybe he uses her to tells her to do something crazy, and then UNC fires him or tells him to step down, and he goes back to the NFL.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned firing
Because
because
I think NFL is where he wants to go. I don't think he's going to be at UNC for long. I don't know the contract, how he can get out of it or any of that. But I still feel like this is a small stepping stone. I think he'll be there 2-3 years tops.
well, his deal I think drops significantly like come June 1st or whatever it is. I remember that whole buyout thing, but I think the NFL told him they didn't want him. I mean, you have to wonder now, like, was she around when he was trying to get an NFL job when he was going through that process? Remember he interviewed with the Falcons and the Falcons said no to Bill Belichick. Like, was she around and how involved was she in this process? Because now you kind of see like, hey, I'm taking on this guy, and he's got a certain personality. He's going to rub certain guys the wrong way. He's set in his ways. But then you bring her on and a level of Yoko Ono-ness that we've never seen in football before. That's just a lot of drama.
Yeah, but it's all it takes is one team to like Belichick. We've seen people chase names before, so take that one team. The Jets might come calling. Woody Johnson might rate him on Madden. Woody Johnson might like, oh man, I got to get that guy.
Former Patriot Ted Johnson was on WEEI afternoons in Boston, and apparently, per awful announcing, he said, "quote I'm surprised UNC never called Atlanta on why they passed on Bill Belichick in hiring him. My feeling is that the Atlanta Falcons are kind of looking at UNC and going, you should have called us." And then he goes on later, kind of paraphrase what he was saying, a big long statement, but he pretty much was calling for Carolina to consider axing Bill Belichick just because of the level of involvement that she is and all this off the field stuff. And it can't be good if you're a mom, if you're let's say a 43-year-old mom. I don't know how old people are to have kids to go to college. Let's say you're a 43-year-old mom. You got an 18-year-old son. He's coming out of high school. He's in the Charlotte area. He's a great recruit. And you want to say, hey, I want to get my kid to get a good education, and I want him to play football. And I want him to go to the NFL possibly. You look at Carolina. Okay, great. You look at Bill Belichick. This guy's got all the rings. He's got all the experience. It would seem like a great scenario. But if you're a mom, you really want to send your son to go? Because not only are these guys like from a good coach, you're learning about football, but you're learning about life. If you're a mom and you see this 77-year-old guy dating a 24-year-old girl who's essentially leading them around by his balls, you're going to send your kid there? What is he? That was about as impactful as anything you've ever said, Chris. Not seeing you was the best month of my life. Go on.
Who is this guy in the top right corner, Chris? Do you know?
I don't know. I've never seen him before.
Well, I've been international traveling and all sorts of events. Better things to do than slum it with you two over here, But what are you going to do? But now that I'm back, we have record high viewership, as you can see. So
we got what?
It's okay.
2-3 viewers right now.
That's in Kazakhstan. But no, Chris, we were talking about Bill Belichick, and if you're a mom, well, you're a dad. You have a kid. Your kid's more athletic than you, smarter, smells better. If he goes to college and goes to play football, does this whole thing with Carolina like give you any qualms? With Belichick, he's getting led around by his balls by a 24-year-old girl. There's all this distraction with her and the interviews, and just seems like a lot of noise and a lot of chaos. Would this give you pause as a parent?
Let's find out how good the football team is this year, and then we can make that decision.
Okay,
yeah,
but
you were
go on.
you were talking about why didn't UNC ask Atlanta why they didn't hire him? I don't think they cared. You're UNC. You get Belichick. You go get him.
Yeah.
It might not work, but it has the potential to put them light years away from where they would ever be otherwise. Especially with the ACC, like the ceiling for this has them being at the top of the ACC for years to come if he can build something there, or they might just suck again if it doesn't work. So they had the money to go get him. So I don't blame them at all for who cares why another team the NFL team didn't want to hire him. You're UNC.
Yeah, but if you're looking at this right now, it's got to be like when you hire someone and they start that job and you start looking like 2 weeks in and you're like, I don't know about this guy, man. I don't know if we got what we signed up for. Kind of like everyone that's ever hired Chris. Like once you get 2 weeks in, it's like, oh boy. And that's kind of like what's going on, I feel like, in Chapel Hill right now. There's got to be
Maybe,
people behind the scenes going,
but
they made the right choice.
But also, you've never heard anybody talk about UNC football this much ever. So is it a bad thing? I don't know.
I'll give you that. We'll just see what happens if it translates to wins and losses on the field. I don't have the stat here. I thought I made the graphic and brought it in, but I didn't. But I think I saw where like 92% of the money is on Carolina to go over 7.5 wins this year, and they better. Their schedule is a cakewalk. But if they don't, man, there are gonna be a lot of upset bettors, and there's a lot of people shelling out $10 million in Chapel Hill that's not going to be happy. But hey, Jordan Hudson will be happy. She'll use that $10 million to buy a couple more rental properties. Do you picture Bill Belichick to be a slumlord? Like if they're renting things and like if your hot water goes out at 3 a.m., is Bill going to like send someone over there to fix it? More importantly, is she going to send someone? Is she going to allow you to have hot water?
Bill doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah. I can't blame him. He's living the dream of every 70-some-year-old man. So go with God.
So when we saw that video like a year or two ago, when he was coming out of, was it like a college neighborhood, and he was like walking out of somebody's house with no shirt on? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, he was coming out of like
doorbell footage.
Yeah.
Was that her? The same girl? That's what I was going to ask. Was he at her house?
I think it was.
Okay, he halfback smash had a whole new meaning that day. It has ever since then. So
maybe he was running a triple option.
It's going to be real awkward when he gets cuckolded by one of his football players. Some like second string receiver from Charlotte is going to end up stealing his girl. And then what happens? You go into transfer. He might be the first player to go into transfer portal because he stole his coach's girl.
Well, maybe they'll get what was it? Ole Miss, where the guy was trying to, or was it Alabama, where the linebacker was trying to fuck the daughter?
I think it was.
It was some inbred
Alabama.
SEC school. Who knows?
I think it was Alabama, where there was a coach. There was a coach's daughter, where the linebacker was from the bang the coach's daughter, like a position coach. I think
he was trying
Bama.
to. She was like 14 or something.
Allegedly,
fucking weird shit.
Allegedly, let's put allegedly out there.
Well.
No, it wasn't alleged. We saw the text messages, and
it is. It's Alabama.
You can't debate age.
We don't have Pat McAfee's lawyers. Allegedly.
All right. The state of Alabama does something to a man.
We couldn't get our money to get Derby Bass on this afternoon. Okay, I don't think our legal team can stand up against those challenges. I digress.
The truth shall prevail.
Yes. Well, we'll see what happens. Well, I'm sure this is only the latest in the string of weird shit. Look, Entertainment Tonight is on my television. I just turned it on. Immediately, there's Bill Belichick, his girlfriend, immediately right there on Entertainment Tonight. If you're Carolina.
Why are you watching Entertainment Tonight?
It was on CBS 6, the last channel I had it on before I turned it off. I don't know what to tell you. I like to watch the news in the morning. I'm old. I got a hoodie and pajama pants on. I'm cold in here. Leave me alone. Which, by the way, I just want to flaunt first world problems. It is like 80-some degrees outside, and I'm freezing in here right now. These are first world problems. God damn your environment. I will run my air conditioner, and I will run my heat. Let the ice caps melt. I don't give a care. All right, let's move on. Next topic here. Let's not do this. Shedeur Sanders. Of course, we all saw the clip going around from, was it Jeff Ulbrich, the defensive coordinator of the Falcons, his son, Ole Miss student, I guess, making a prank phone call to Shedeur on draft day. We've seen the NFL and the Falcons now come out with fines against Ulbrich for this, with no disciplinary, no suspension or anything like that, even though some people were calling for that. What do you guys think when you initially saw this story come out? Chris, I'll start with you.
It's fucked. That's especially with the free fall that Shedeur took. That nobody expected. How did the fucking kid get the number? How did Ulbrich get the number?
So-
Why the fuck did Ulbrich have the number?
So I guess
He's
it
a
was
defensive
on.
coordinator.
Yeah, I would imagine. So the son got it off of his iPad, and so I imagine all the coaches get those private numbers, just for all the prospects. I would think.
Here's the thing, too, though. That phone number that they had, he apparently had bought that phone for the draft.
Just for the draft, yeah.
Yeah. So, you didn't have XYZ boy from back in the day hitting you up or something. Hey, man, whatever. You don't want to be distracted, which is actually a smart move on his point. I'm sure a lot of guys do that. But, yeah, it probably wasn't that hard to figure out. There's a list of 32 teams that has that phone number. Then as soon as you put your dumbass face out, which another thing, if you're going to do it, don't put the video out. Everyone can reverse image search and find out who you are. And, you have a very famous dad. Your dad is one of 32 people that has this job in the country. But I digress. But here's the thing. NFL could solve this real easy. This can never happen again. They can make sure. Go back to old technology. NFL's got what? Verizon is the official phone provider, I think, of the NFL.
Sure.
Set up a deal with Verizon. The guys that are at the draft, you put landlines in the draft room, like a bullpen phone. You put landline there. You don't even have a phone number. You just have like Travis Hunter, and let's say Cleveland was drafting him. You just press his name, it rings, boom. The guys that aren't there, set up a landline where they are. It doesn't cost much to install one. I'm sure you can get a sponsorship deal and get that done and put the Verizon stuff in the house. This phone call brought to you by Verizon. Boom, it's all done. Never happens again. It's a non-story.
It's crazy to think that was the second biggest leak in the month of April in this country. That's crazy.
Oh, that was. I'll give you credit for that one. That was actually good. Yeah, we'll just get Pete Hegg to do all the rest of the clips in the Signal chat.
But yeah, what I still don't understand why the coaching staff needs to have the number outside. Like, I just don't understand it. Why is that not different in the office? They're all going to be there.
Well, different guys make the phone call.
Yeah, but they're all going to be there. So why not just have it?
As Scotty said, different guys make the call. I'm sure maybe in the lead up to it. I don't know how far they cut off.
Also, Ulbrich's not calling Shedeur Sanders. He's a defensive coordinator.
It's probably just a mass list of the prospects that go out.
It should be way more buttoned up than that. There was like 5 prank calls over the draft, but the Shedeur one obviously is the worst because he dropped from a top 5 pick to the 5th round.
And I'm sure the kids didn't didn't take into account that this is a guy that thought he was going as high as number 2 at one point. Then it fell to the 5th round. Sitting around for 2-3 days, just waiting to be picked. But I go back to when I was, 20 years old in college, something like that.
Yeah.
If one of my friends back then had access to this, we totally would have did the same thing. Not me, because I just wouldn't have been able to pull it off. But I definitely would have been there in the room, laughing my ass off. It's college kids. It was what they thought was a harmless prank. They don't realize. I don't think they really realized what Shedeur was really, whether you like him or not, what he was going through at that point. Thinking he was. I mean, this is a guy. He could have went back to college and made more money this year, and probably got a higher draft pick next year. Just the whole talking and all that, and all the stuff that came out, and then sliding as far as he did. It was just kids trying to pull a prank. I mean, I would venture to say we've all had a prank call at one point in our life when we were younger. But our dad wasn't a defensive coordinator either. So if we see a tablet and then we're like, oh, my dad's NFL tablet sitting there and I can get into it, and then I see all these numbers and I see I can't say if I'm 20 years old, I'm not doing the same thing.
And you mentioned having it buttoned up. I mean, there's a certain level of trust you expect in those organizations, certain guys. And I don't know what the cutoff is for when they stop talking to guys before the draft. Maybe a couple nights before. Maybe you have an assistant coach calls and do one more chat to get one more feel of a guy if you're torn between two guys.
But we also know this was only for the draft. They have his other phone number.
Yes, that's very true too. I worked at radio stations where there's like a master list of like guests and stuff like that. Everyone can share. People have gone through and hey, that's such and such's phone number there. I'm like, hey, you should probably leave that one alone. You're never going to call that guy. That station is, but I digress. But you talk about prank phone calls. This whole thing made me think about. I think the statute of limitations is gone on this. When I was a kid, when I was like 6 years old, I was at church against my will, mind you. But I was at church. I opened up a Bible. In the back of the Bible, somebody had wrote the phone number for unsolved mysteries. I don't know why. I mean, maybe that was a protest against the Lord or something. I don't know.
You need America's Most Wanted for that.
Yeah.
Also, let's not talk about going to church and doing things against your will.
Oh, yes. Church. The Catholic Church would be really upset at us. But yeah, there was a number for unsolved mysteries in the Bible. So I memorized that number. And later on that week, I called it from home and I reported that I found some missing kids. And mind you, I'm like 6 myself. So clearly they know that this is a prank. And the guy's like, mind you, this phone calls being recorded or whatever. I hung up so fucking fast. And remember how like East Bay used to be a thing in the catalog? I used to always call and ask them if they had Dan Marley jerseys. I don't know why, but I wanted a Dan Marley jersey.
You know
Phoenix Suns. Thunder Dan, baby. That was back before he was Thunder Dan.
Why.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, he was the man, though.
Yeah, so we've all made our fair share of prank phone calls.
But also, so we had access to a very famous person's one form of social media at one point in time. Now, imagine if we were 20 years old. Do you think maybe we would have done something with that? Do you think maybe that person would have had like a racist post or something? Like, I don't know. Well, maybe not.
Considering the background of that country too, it wouldn't have been that hard to believe. It would have been out of the realm of possibility. But yes, I see what you're saying. You put someone in a position to do something stupid, and they're going to do it. I gotta imagine that it's the most expensive prank phone call of all time. If you're Jeff Ulbrich, what do you do to that kid? Do you not pay his college tuition, but then he becomes Chris? At that point, he drops out and becomes Chris.
He does not get to go on spring break or beach week or anything. If Gavin ever did that shit, he'd be working hard labor the whole summer.
He can't drive the Benz for a month. Ooh. Or just change your fucking password to where your son can't get into it.
Yeah. That was.
Yeah, don't be a dumbass, Jeff.
Well, speaking of not being a dumbass, I guess these two guys were dumbasses. I didn't see it. I saw the 38 seconds of this. I made myself watch 38 seconds of NBA action before this show to prepare for this.
Bro, it's like almost 90s basketball back for playoffs.
Yeah, you'd actually enjoy it. It's been very good. Very competitive.
Apparently, I just learned what a Tyrese Haliburton is earlier. This,
oh my God, he played for Team USA. You're wearing the fucking hoodie.
This is Four Nations Face-Off, baby. They actually hit
a Team USA hoodie. Support your fucking country, you dirtbag.
USA hockey, okay, not basketball.
But some of us are patriots, Chris. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's true.
It's nice. I want to know what you were doing.
Some of us are fake triots.
I want to know what you were doing January 6, 2021, Patriot. But anyway.
Yeah, because you weren't in town. So you need to ask what we were doing.
Yeah. I wasn't there. I was at a meeting. Anyway, sure. I learned what a Tyrese Haliburton is. And apparently him and I'm going to say it. I think I said it right the last time. Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Good enough.
Ooh, look at that. Look at that. Haliburton's dad and Giannis had some words, I guess, after the Pacers apparently eliminated the Bucks from the NBA playoffs. Take me back to this. Was this a contentious series?
They've had a budding rivalry over the last few years. But yeah, these were. Giannis has been busting his ass, and the rest of the team sucks. And I'm sure he was very frustrated. Damian Lillard went down with was it Achilles?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everything is crumbling around Giannis in Milwaukee. He'll probably be on the move. But anyways, it's been a budding rivalry. It was a hard-fought series. A lot of close games, some blowouts, but Giannis tried to carry him on the back, and he couldn't.
So why was Haliburton's dad out on the floor? He was like holding up a T-shirt or something?
So game one, Dame was still injured. He hadn't come back yet before he got injured again. He's in street clothes talking shit to Tyrese Haliburton, and that became a thing. And I think it was the next day or the day after, an anonymous players poll comes out, and Tyrese Haliburton was like the runaway favorite for most overrated player in the league. And then cut to it's 2 nights ago now. The Bucks are winning most of the game. They have a huge lead in overtime, and like I kind of turned the game off, and then I turned in. I was like, "Oh shit!" Last second, it was. I think the Bucks were up 1. They threw the ball away. Haliburton hits a layup at the buzzer
over Giannis. Got around Giannis to score the winning layup.
Yeah, so I'm like, man, good for him because he seems like a good guy. So I was kind of rooting for him. I was like, good for him, kind of shutting the haters up for a minute. And then a couple seconds later, his dad is waving like a flag. He says he wasn't looking at Giannis, but he said he was looking through him. Like he didn't even realize he was there. But it's like everybody else on the court was over like all jumbled together. And then you just have his dad here and Giannis here, and they're just looking at each other.
Was that before or after the Ben Mathurin scuffle with Giannis?
That was before. So, and then I saw another angle where he was like kind of under the basket, his dad with the flag, like before the end of the game. And then he comes on the court and he's just, I don't know if he said anything, but he's just staring at Giannis. And Giannis is just looking at him like, who the fuck is this guy? And I think he realized who he was. And then Giannis went back up to him and got in his face and had some words to say. And then I thought that Giannis was like going in just to give, was it Mathurin? Did I say his last name?
Yep.
Just to give him like a handshake and say, good game, good series or whatever. And then I think Mathurin like pushed him away. So that started a whole nother thing. But yeah, that's what we love about playoff basketball. Bring all that shit back. We've had a few scuffles and some contentious things happening. It's been fun. It's been a lot of good games. The Pistons and Knicks, they're starting. What time is it? In a little bit.
7:18.
That'll be fun. We got the Nuggets and Clippers. That'll be a really good game tonight. Fuck the Rockets. I was rooting for them until last night. Yeah, you have your star player, biggest player, for some reason still in the game, going against a third team, and all of a sudden you want to pick on a guy that looks, no offense, Leon, but looks like he sells insurance.
That guy failed in life. I know.
Lacrosse player. He's a lacrosse player. I was like, Draymond's been cheap shotting people all series. You didn't do anything to him, but when a 6-foot point guard to play 1 year at Northwestern does something, you want to fucking body check him. So I think the Warriors are going to destroy them in the next game. Draymond Green's going to be powerbombing people. But yeah, the NBA playoffs have been really good. We've had shades of 90s basketball that we all love. That's why the ratings are up. But yeah,
Leon,
been a good time.
You would appreciate Tyrese Haliburton's game. I don't know if it was during the Olympics or at some point over the last few summers, there was videos of him stumbling drunk out of a cab with 5 women.
Okay, I do respect
all of your flavor of women. So
me and who was that eagle that went to the yes, me and that eagle who went to the White House, who was into Ivana Trump or whatever. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? There was an Eagles player.
I missed
that.
It
At the White House. He said that was exactly his cup of tea. Yeah. But
who was that?
I don't know. Look
I
that
know
up
you're talking about. I can't think of who it was.
looked it up real quick while I want to circle back real quick to the Giannis thing though.
Yeah.
I still want to understand how Halliburton's dad got on the court. Is NBA security that lax? I know we've seen like protesters before trying to get on the court in the NBA and like glue themselves and different things. I
I
can't help but think about Canada last
think
year.
family and friends, if they're courtside, they are able to sneak. But they probably have a special pass for family, I would think, to allow them on the court to celebrate. I don't know. It shouldn't happen. The guy should have never been on the court.
Well, that's what I was thinking because my initial thought process went
Well,
back to the RBC Canadian Open last year, when I forget the guy. I think it was Nick Taylor won, and Adam Hadwin runs out to go like dap up his boy.
Yeah.
They're friends, and a fucking security guard just like Brian Bosworth. Adam Hadwin, who's a professional golfer
well,
who just played in the tournament himself. You know, you got that going on the PGA Tour, but then you got dads almost getting in fights with Greek freaks on the floor in the NBA.
it just depends on the security guards. Like we saw during the Final Four when Hakeem Olajuwon was trying to come on the court and they wouldn't let him. It's like, how do you not recognize that guy out of all people? But the security guards probably made aware who he was, and his son just hit the game winner. So they were like, all right, you're not going to do anything too crazy. Come on. And then he just gets in Giannis's face. Like, what are you doing?
No, I will respect it though. That is a proper in soccer they call that shithousery. That's a proper level of shithousery there. Like there was a Everton fan who bought a bunch of flares and took the red sticker off the flare and put a blue sticker on it. So when Liverpool fans were going to shoot off the flares to celebrate their championship win last week, some of them were shooting off Everton blue instead of red. That's a proper level of like being an asshole. So I do respect Halliburton's dad for being a bit of a dodgy asshole there. I'm surprised he didn't get his ass whooped though, especially if you're Giannis and you just lost and you got nothing else going on. By the way, is he done in Milwaukee? Is Milwaukee's window closed now that Lillard's Achilles has destroyed itself? Giannis is older. He's probably got 3 years maybe left in his prime. They don't have any money from what I've read from the cap. Is it a foregone conclusion that he's going to be an LA Laker next season?
I don't know if he'll be a Laker, but he's not a guy that needs to go to a big market. He's fine with Milwaukee. He just wants to win. So he could be on the move. I don't know.
Chris, you think he goes to a bigger market?
I don't think he's going to be in Milwaukee if they're smart. Their salary cap is in shambles at the moment. So they got a lot of things that they need to figure out going forward. And I don't think they're going to be able to build a team around Giannis the way it is currently constructed, the way his contract is. So the smart thing would be to move on, get some younger players, get some draft picks, send them to OKC.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe. What about the Lakers? Losing in 5, making Julius Randle look like the guy he thinks he is. That guy was going off all series. I hit his over.
Shout out to Gavin, who called T-Wolves in 5 before the series started.
Really?
Yeah.
The gentleman's sweep, as they say, when you drop one game. But I did see this where LeBron apparently criticized the front office, saying that AD spoke up, and then like a month later he was gone, like he wasn't the goddamn head coach and GM of the team. They gave him arguably one of the best players in the world in Luka, and they still couldn't get out of the first round. I don't watch the NBA, and even I know that guy's full of shit.
Yeah, well, I don't know what he's doing with that. It obviously isn't going to make Luka feel good, but the Lakers, if they have to choose between Luka and LeBron, they're not choosing LeBron at this point.
Correct.
Luka's their guy, so I'm calling it now. LeBron's going to Golden State.
Are we on LeBron watch? Or is he going to do it? Aaron Rodgers, won't he play for this upcoming season?
Maybe they asked him. Yeah, they asked him right after the game, which is not a good time to ask anybody anything. But then he was very non-committal, said he had to talk to his family. So we shall see.
The difference between him and Aaron Rodgers is people actually want LeBron on their team. So
do they?
Yeah.
Well, I guess he's 40.
I don't love the fit with him and Luka though. I think it might be better for everybody if they can try to trade him, and I don't know what they would get from Golden State, but wherever he goes, get something.
Here's the thing about LeBron. He's 40 years old. That guy's played in the NBA for forever. Don't even think about the extra games because of the playoffs and the Olympics. He's got more miles than Bonnie Blue on his body. And he wants to be the head coach and the general manager. Who wants that at 40 years old? It's got to be going back to the Lakers. No one else is. He's going to want a shit ton of money. He's not going to play for free.
Right.
He's LeBron.
The guy's averaging 25 points a game still.
But how sustainable is that?
He had one of his
really
best seasons of his career this year. He was incredible.
Yeah, he stays in shape more than anybody else. It's ridiculous. And his mind is always in shape because he reads a book every day.
Sometimes right side up. Sometimes. Yeah. I hear he's still working on the Cat in the Hat. You know, he's getting there. Green eggs and ham was really tough for him, but we'll see.
I'm not a LeBron guy, but he is still pretty good. He can still play. Somebody's gonna want him.
He's elite. He's still elite. He's still one of the best 15 players in the league.
By the way, don't you love when I can work a Bonnie Blue reference into this podcast? And I'm not talking about the flag.
I'm sure you think about that a lot. So
yeah.
We'll get you signed up, Scotty. We'll get you signed up. All right. Yeah. So speaking of women, there'll be lots of women. This is a really bad analogy. Good Lord. There'll be lots of women in sundresses this weekend in Louisville, Kentucky, because it's the 151st running of the Kentucky Derby. And for that, let's talk a little bit and do a little segment I like to call Betting the Ponies. Betting the Ponies, brought to you by absolutely no one.
I've heard better horn players.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. That was rough, man. Canva. I've made the migration over from Adobe to Canva.
Just some middle schooler recorded it.
Well, I typed in horse racing bugle into Canva, and that was the best of the 5 options that it had.
I like it.
Yeah.
No, the worse the better.
Yeah, it was.
You can't just be below average. If you're gonna be bad, be bad.
It reminded me of when I was in 5th grade and they brought that stupid ass recorder out and they made everyone play it. And
3rd grade,
I was hot cross buns, baby. Hot cross buns.
I was so bad, and I remember I told the music teacher that your job is irrelevant, and that was one of many times I got sent to the principal.
Well, damn, that was going to be my my job. That's what I was going for a little bit.
And now you're on the podcast.
And then I realized I didn't want to teach kids. So
there was a lot of ways that could have gone there. A lot of ways that could have gone. I'm glad it didn't, Scotty. All right, so let's get into it. Post time, 6:57 Eastern Standard Time there at Churchill Downs in beautiful Louisville, Kentucky there on NBC. Look at that I added the roses to the graphic there. This is in no way, shape, or form the same graphics that I use for the Getting Loose podcast, and I just stuck some rosebuds on it. No way, shape, or form the exact same graphics. But let's get into it here for our picks for the Run for the Roses. First up is Sandman with trainer Mark Case. Who has Sandman here?
That's me.
That's you, Chris. You know nothing of this horse, I'm sure.
No, absolutely, Dick. But I did see that the favorite name was journalism, and we all know that's dead in America because it's all fake news. So I'm going with Sandman. Fucking really cool song that Virginia Tech shouldn't have that plays in their stadium when they play football games. But that's he's won over $1.25 million. Why the fuck not?
Yeah, it's won the Arkansas Derby, always one of the big lead-up races to the Kentucky Derby. That's 1 1/8 mile there. 3-1-2 from 8 starts, 3 wins, 1 place in 2 shows. As you said, won over 1.2 million. But He's coming from the 17th post, which is winless at the
It was the
Kentucky
first
Derby
time for everything.
all time. So Sandman coming off right now at 6-1. Next up, Scotty. I'm sure you've done a modicum more research into American Promise, which, by the way, their name and their odds are the same color of the silks they'll be wearing on Saturday. A little Easter egg for you there.
Yeah, I don't know where you got those odds because it was 13-1 when I looked earlier.
Well, it
But
was
regardless,
the morning
I will
line.
take.
The morning line was 30-1. I haven't looked at it. It may have gone down, but it was 30-1 on the morning line.
Oh, he won the Virginia Derby. I should have went with that guy.
Exactly. That's part of the reason why I'm going for him. I don't know much about any of this shit either, but trainer D. Wayne Lucas, not Dwayne. D. Initial D. Wayne Lucas.
You gotta know who D. Wayne Lucas is.
This guy I know because I watched Race for the Crown, which is part of the reason why I'm picking this horse. This guy is so old that this is probably where the name Dwayne came from. He was probably named after him. That's why you see Dwayne's now. He is 89 years old. The oldest trainer to win a Kentucky Derby is 77. This guy is 12 years older than that. If you watch the Race for the Crown on Netflix, it's actually pretty damn good. He's one of the only likable guys on there. Maybe that's because he didn't have much camera time, but just a super old, super cool guy. He's obviously a very good trainer. You mentioned the Virginia Derby. That was at Colonial Downs. It's just a short drive away from here. That's how they got into the Derby. They said this might be a wet track. This horse has won on a wet track before. So we got that. And then he's coming out of the 5 slot. What do you call it? The gate, number 5 gate. That is the winningest gate in Kentucky Derby. There's been 10 winners coming out of there. If this goes back down to 30, I will gladly take that. I don't know shit, but he's got a good trainer. Justify was a good horse. That was his sire. Does that just mean dad?
Yes, that was his dad.
All right.
Just remember that you can't lock in odds on horse racing. It will go until the race starts. So
parimutuel bet.
Just remember that.
So if you bet 30-1, it's not going to stay at 30-1. Especially as more horses drop out, it's going to shorten and shorten. But yeah, not only did he win the Virginia Derby, he won it by 7 3/4 lengths. So go American Promise.
Next up was my favorite, but then he was fucking scratched. That was Rodriguez. Bob Baffert making his triumphant return back after his banishment there for cheating. So all of that I had done, everything I had written up for him doesn't fucking matter. So
I almost took him.
Who am I going to go with? I don't even know how you pronounce it. I think it's
Baeza.
I think he's coming off right now. I think I saw it 12-1 last time I saw it. I may have to update that. Actually, I don't know if those odds are right. Sorry, it may have been
Baeza.
Doesn't matter. It's going to change.
But John Sheriff's trainer there. This horse is a runner-up at the Santa Anita Derby earlier this month. He's half-brother to the 23 Kentucky Derby winner Mage and the 24 Belmont Stakes winner Dernick. Of course, Dernick partially owned by Jason Worth. Don't know really a lot about this horse, but he did get in the field with the scratch of Rodriguez. So, the horse gods giveth and the horse gods taketh away. So I'm going with Baeza here. Will probably be another great story to get in right before and win the damn thing, which, by the way, journalism is the favorite. I think I saw the last 6 favorites have not won. And I believe the last 6 favorites, I want to say that have won the Derby have been double-digit odd favorites. So something to think about there. But this horse, apparently everything I read about him has the speed. He was on the outside looking in, but they said he's a very dangerous contender now getting into the field. And with that pedigree coming from Mage and coming from Dernick, I'm going to go with Baeza. They're sporting those somewhat Laker colors since they've been eliminated now. I'll go ahead and back him at 12-1. So there we go.
Yeah. You mentioned journalism being the favorite. I was listening to something on CBS Sports, and guess who one of their horse racing experts is who doesn't like journalism?
Randy Moss?
It's a old basketball player. retired from the 90s.
Horse racing. I know they have Paul
You'll
LaDuca,
never guess it.
the baseball
Unless
player
you-
does horse racing.
Unless you've seen him, you'll never. It's Avery Johnson.
Avery Johnson?
I saw him on
as
there.
a college coach, so now he's into horse racing.
So I opened the video and I see him. I'm like, oh, maybe he's just like the guy that is asking the questions or whatever. And no, they're asking him the questions. I'm like, he was going with Grande for what that's worth. He doesn't like journalism. So I don't know. He must really be into horses, so he must know his shit to be on there. I don't know. Out of everybody, Avery Johnson.
I
is the
like
guy
how
you go to.
random sports people are into horse racing. Like Eddie Olczyk is
Yes.
a legit NBC guy, and he's like a hockey savant.
Yeah.
But he knows his fucking horse racing. It's weird.
Former
Manute
Mets.
Bol. Manute Bol is a jockey.
Shut the fuck up. That horse would
Bro.
be like dragging through the ground.
I'm not kidding. These super tall guys, for some reason, they fucking Jokic is into it.
Jokic
I don't know if
does
he's,
love
I don't know if
horses.
he's ever raced a horse, but
Jokic probably does like what is these? I always mix up those countries. Slovenian? Serbian?
No, I think he's Serbian
racist.
because I think Lucas Slovenian, so he's Serbian.
Yeah, they're all these former Central to Eastern European countries that were one part of the Iron Curtain that have no hope. He's from over there somewhere. I'm sure he does like really drunken. What's that? Really degenerate racing that I'm sure Derby Bass bets on, where you're like in the cart behind the horse.
Yeah, he does the kart racing because
Okay.
well, he rides
look.
the horses from a cart, but I don't know
I'm
if
gonna
he
share
has
my
horse
screen real
racing
quick.
horses. Yeah, show that
Oh.
video.
And by the way, Beza,
It's not,
I
a,
just
it's
looked
not
it
a
up.
video. It's just a picture.
I just looked up Beza.
That's-
He's currently the co-fourth choice. Right now, 36 minutes ago, CBS Sports.com. He is right now currently at 12-1. So
Manute Bol, a jockey, and a worried horse.
what the fuck?
That's amazing.
And I feel like he's not the only like 7-foot plus guy that likes the jockey. I don't know what it is.
I don't even.
Maybe because they can get on the horse easy.
But
I'm
how
sure they don't
the
win often.
aerodynamics? Like the legs gonna be. Do they test aerodynamics of horses? Do they put the little midget guys? Do they put them in like a wind tunnel on the back of the horse, like NASCAR, and they have like the wind coming off the end of them? Because that would be great. I want midget jockey wind tunnel testing. Can we take them to like Daytona and do that? That would be awesome. But
Yeah.
yes,
Have y'all watched what's the name? I just said the name of the doc and I forgot already.
No.
Race for the Crown.
Fuck did I
no,
watch that?
I have not watched that. I have
It's
8
pretty good.
million things in my DVR or not DVR,
Pretty good.
Q or whatever.
That is the last thing I want to watch.
Yeah, it involves entertainment. You would rather watch someone load manage playoff game.
It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I'll watch it. I will check it out, Scotty, because I'm a compassionate human being.
The fuck's that have to do with horse racing?
I don't know.
It's also not true.
Yeah, not at all.
Not true. When those horses are coming down the stretch on Saturday, I want them to Rodney King that fucking thing. Like, just go ahead and
Jesus Christ.
do not spare the whip.
That might be racist.
I just listened to a podcast about that like earlier in the week, so it was fresh on my mind. But all right. Well,
Who's doing a podcast about that now?
what's that?
So who's doing a podcast about that now?
It was like a 90s like centric moments that happened that were like quintessential in the 90s, so that
Tune in next week. We're doing a podcast about Pogs.
LA riots. One thing I did want to get to while we're still on sports before we go to the non-sports stuff, obviously spring football wrapping up for a lot of teams around the country. And of course, over 4,000 players went into the portal across college football from D1 to like D3. One guy that has a new home is Chandler Morris. He's at Virginia, came from North Texas. Before that, I forget where he was at, but this is like his fourth stop. Of course, the son of former head coach Chad Morris, who's terrible at Arkansas as a head coach, but I digress. But he was on the ACC network talking about his goals at Virginia. And I just want you to hear this.
Chandler, one of the first things you said when you got to UVA was you didn't just come here to play football. You came here to win a championship at Virginia. Why did you feel like you wanted to make a statement like that, basically from the very beginning when you got to Charlottesville?
I mean, inside the locker room, I mean, I was a part of a team that was 5-7 one year, and then the next year we went to the national championship. I mean, it can happen quick, especially in this day and age of college football. And the biggest thing, I mean, you just can't put mental limits on yourself. I mean, it should be no surprise in our locker room. I mean, that's the goal, and everyone needs to know our goal inside of our building, and just no surprises.
Well, Chandler, I got a surprise for you, buddy.
What?
You won't be contending for the championship of the state of Virginia, much less the ACC or a national championship, buddy. And Chandler Morris was at Oklahoma, then TCU. He was there for 21 to 23. So as you remember, they got the shit kicked out of him in the national championship, and then North Texas, and then Virginia. So,
Well, you can't win your last game of the regular season, so I don't know. You're gonna have to go undefeated before that to get in the playoffs.
yeah. Obviously, these are things you want to say. You want every guy to say this, but do you really believe this in your heart of hearts, Chandler Morris, that you're going to win a championship at Virginia? Maybe in golf. Men's golf won their first ever ACC title the other day at Virginia. Maybe that, but
The first, really?
yeah,
Wow.
Hey,
first
good-
ever.
Good for him. He's delusional, but good for him for saying that. If I was one of those fans, I would want my guy to have that confidence. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's not happening.
yeah. Virginia lacrosse right now too, missing the NCAA tournament, missing the ACC tournament. They're bad. So not a lot of good things they can hang their hat on right now in Charlottesville.
Is that baseball?
Those,
Swimming
well,
and
they may not make the NCAA field of 64 in baseball right now either. So, yeah, if you're a man at Virginia, sports are not good right now. But we'll see. We'll see. All right, let's move from that and let's get into. Oh, one more thing. I'm sorry. This is not sports, but kind of, sort of. We all do a lot of betting. We all lose a lot of money. It's always funny
Not me.
when we watch Scotty lose money. But
I just
Scotty,
completed I just went 4 for 4, making a profit for the month. Haven't had a losing month this year. And hit the Cubs plus 125 earlier.
Well, I found security footage of you and your girl in Las Vegas. For those of you listening,
Listen,
I didn't see.
I know
They had
I
neck
know-
braces on, and they're gambling. Where were they playing? Blackjack?
Maybe. I think so.
I couldn't see.
You couldn't see from a distance, but neck braces on with a stack of chips that they promptly lost. Scotty, did you all flip a Honda Accord and then end up going to the Bellagio and losing the insurance money? Like, what happened?
So look, I'll say this with 100% honesty. Gambling is a hobby for me. It hasn't become an issue yet. But if I ever dated a girl that was also a big gambler, then it could become an issue, and I could become that guy with a neck brace on. So, did they get in a car accident and then get the insurance money and go straight to the casino?
That's what I just said. Like,
Is it? Oh
38
yeah, Honda.
seconds ago.
Oh, I thought you
Yeah.
meant after they
We don't
lost
listen
their
to
money.
you. Yeah, we don't listen to you.
But
Liam.
I heard you say flip the Accord. I thought you meant out of anger because they lost their money. They went physically flipped the Honda Accord.
No, I literally think they got the claims payout from Geico and immediately walked into the old casino there and put it all on black. Yeah,
It's
that was rough.
not a good strategy.
No, never. All right, let's get into some more zany non-sports stuff here. For that, it's weird news. I love that techno beat of that, man. I could bump to that
Also-
shit all day long.
Sure, you could. Do the other fist while you're doing that one. The right one.
We call that the Bonnie Blue. In fact,
Or
kids, I
that-
just watched
nah.
the new dance. I'm not going to do it.
I almost said something political too. So
I'm not going to do it.
Not do that.
Um,
Also, why'd you say Honda Accord? What's wrong
That
with the Honda Accord?
that was the first car I could think of. Toyota Prius. There we go. It's the first car I could think
All right, better.
of. All right. So moving on here, that couple, I hope that they have a long and happy life together, and maybe they can have some cool wedding pictures like this one. I forget the person I stole this from on X, so I do apologize. But a wedding, which Chris, you'll find out what that is one day, maybe.
I'm going to a wedding tomorrow.
Oh,
Or
well.
Saturday.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So
Well,
I'm not
maybe
watching the Kentucky Derby.
maybe you'll see this.
If you get the day right, you'll be
Yeah.
there.
Maybe you'll see this. This was a couple in Florida, I believe in the Key Largo area. They were taking their pictures there after the wedding when they were wedding crashed by deer. It looks like a young doe here, but it gets better. As you can see in slide 2, the bride's looking on at the deer lovingly here, like greatest day of her life. She's marrying a guy that looks like he's about as old as Bill Belichick, as you can see from that first picture there. Then in slide number 3 here, the deer decides that he wants in on the reception, and he's going ham over
That's
here,
funny.
she or whatever it is. And then lastly, posing for some proper photos here. So hopefully there's a deer at the wedding that you're going to, Chris. And if there is, go with God.
It's going to be in Charlottesville, so there might be.
Oh, there you go. Well, are you going to wear a tie to this wedding?
No.
Okay. So Rico Bosco, was it Rico? No, Nikki Smokes from Barstool.
Maybe you could see some of those one of those future national championship winning football players while you're there.
Yeah. Maybe Chandler Morris will be waiting tables at the wedding there, putting in that grit. But so there was an article on Barstool. Nikki Smokes was, I skimmed through it, but long story short was, do you still wear a tie to a wedding? There was a retort article, I want to say by Dante, saying that you should. Last wedding I went to was out of this country, was earlier this month. I did not wear a tie. It was a beach wedding, so I looked like an out-of-work Cuban drug dealer. But I don't think I've worn a tie to the last 3 or 4 weddings I've been to. I think the last tie I wore to a wedding was my wedding. But what's the appropriate move here? Tie or no tie?
Tie if you're in, no tie if you're not.
Actually,
I think that's.
I agree with that. I think that was probably the last time I wore a tie was the wedding I was in years ago. A long time ago. Fuck a tie.
Might have been the smartest thing you've ever said, Chris.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, weddings are listen, there's a double standard. I'm sorry, ladies, but there is in this country. I get it. Y'all have it harder than us. Being a dude is great 99.99999% of the time. This is the one time I think where women have it easier. Because you go to a wedding, they just put on the dress. They wear dresses all the time. We don't wear suits all the time, especially us gentlemen of larger carriage. So, and on a hot day or whatever, you're dressed up, you got a tie, you're sweating your ass off. If you're a girl, you might just wear a nicer dress than the dress that you normally would have wore wherever to work or something. You just wear a nicer one. And if it's a summer day and you're a girl, I imagine they're probably light. You're cool.
Yeah, you throw that shit on like a basketball jersey. Just throw that shit on.
Yeah, you just roll. They just roll with it. So, that's the one time I think they have it better than us is when it comes to a wedding.
Yeah,
that's the one time. You say that's the one time they have it better than us?
Yeah. I'm sorry. We have the advantage all the other time. And it's not our fault.
Right.
I mean, we do.
Okay. I don't know what you mean by that, but
we don't have to
dive into that.
We don't have to suffer the pain of childbirth. No one sexually harasses us. Those are the things I'm talking about.
Okay. I don't know which direction you're going. You never know with you.
We get to hook up with women. Women have to hook up with Chris. That's a bad double standard. That's all I'm saying. We have it easier.
All right. That's fair.
I'm a feminist.
Okay. I agree. Okay. Yeah, sure.
I want that isolated.
I got it.
Duval.
Did you mean to play that?
Yes.
Where is that?
It's further down under some of the intros and stuff like that. Yeah.
Have y'all heard the 100 men versus a gorilla take?
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up.
I wanted to talk about that. Yeah.
So, where did this start? Online. Did we know who created
TikTok
this?
or Twitter or something? Who knows? It's just one of those debates.
Yeah.
All right. So the backstory here, for those of you who don't know, there's a random topic going around. It's been everywhere. I think on the Today Show, Pat McAfee's talked about it, a bunch of people. But Who would win if you had, what was it, a silverback gorilla or just a regular gorilla?
Silverback gorilla.
Silverback. So a silverback gorilla takes on 100 men. Who would win?
So I would say if the 100 people swarm the gorilla, the 100 people are going to win. But if they're all scattered out with no plan, the gorilla's just going to fuck them up. I'll say just from pure just amount of people, if you have 100 guys, instead of 100 men, so you get 100 men, swarm a gorilla, he's going to kill probably at least 30, maybe 40, 50. But at some point, it's going to be too many people. They're going to smother them. They're going to take them down and just bash his shit in, basically. But if they're not coordinated and they're all over the place, then the gorilla's going to maul them. I would take the 100 people. If you say 50, then I don't know about that one. That might be a toss-up.
Well,
I might take the gorilla.
If Bonnie Blue can take on 1,057 men, I think
This
the
is
gorilla.
the third reference.
I'm trying to see how many Bonnie Blue references I can get in.
You're trying to get us some weird viewers. Is what you're trying to do.
I'm going for those.
Whatever works.
I'm going for those.
But that is one of the keywords in this week's
Bonnie
episode.
Blue.
Let's see what happens.
She'll pop up as a person if you go to like about and do like more or show people that we talked about. She'll pop up.
Might be a woman that wants to spend time with Chris. Maybe. But I want to know. There's all sorts of questions I have about this. Are these men raw dogging with this gorilla? Are there no weapons?
No weapons.
Okay,
No
no weapons.
No, weapons would be easy.
Yeah.
Are these men, is it like Scotty said, is it like a coordinated attack? Are they all going at once? Or is this like a really shitty Jean-Claude Van Damme movie where like, hey, there's 57 of us, but I'm going to come at you and you're going to whoop my ass. And the next
One
guy's
at a
gonna come.
time.
You're going to
Yeah.
So
It depends
it's
on who
one
you
at a
have.
time. And
Do
are
the
these
people
like,
know? Do the people know they're there to fight the gorilla? Or
and
is it
also-
like you're at the zoo and all of a sudden, oh shit, a door opened? Like,
also, what kind? I want to know where these men are from because that makes a big difference too. You can go ahead and get your sounder there ready, Scotty. Because
yeah.
if they're a bunch of like, I don't know who's the shortest country in the world. I don't know, South Korea maybe or something. I don't know. I don't think they're really tall usually. Or there's like
Mexico?
a bunch of Mexico Chapitos. Oh, Chapos would give me. But yeah, if they're a bunch of guys like El Chapo size, like I probably feel better about it. Now if they're fighting like a bunch of like, I don't know who's usually bad, Russians or Germans in like 80s movies. They're usually big and bad and built. Okay, that's saying something. If these are guys from like Arkansas, I feel more confident than guys from like New Hampshire,
All right, a few things because I'm educated and not a moron. So gorillas
You're
are
educated in gorilla
naturally
fighting.
very, very passive animals. They do have a bite force twice the strength of a tiger, which is insane. And they are way physically stronger than us, but they are vegetarians. They hate conflict. There is a tribe of gorillas getting massacred by chimpanzees in the Congo as we speak. They don't want to fight. They'll defend themselves, but that is not their first inclination. Man wins. It's not even going to be close. We might lose 2 or 3. It'd probably be Leon.
More.
It's me, Leon, and Scotty are the ones that are dying. But
We're losing more.
everybody else
We're
is
losing
fine.
double figures for sure.
No.
Chris, you just
Yes.
described the gorillas as like Bernie Bros. They're vegetarian. They want to avoid conflict. They're passive. They're Bernie Bros.
Let's not do that.
I
We don't do that here.
It wasn't a political post. I'm just saying they're
was
soy
that.
boys. They're soy boys.
Yes, gorillas are soy boys.
They're beta males.
They're
You wouldn't say
gym
it to his
bros.
face. You wouldn't say it to his face.
What, the gorilla? I'm sure I could outsmart a gorilla. Yeah, physically he can rip me to shreds, but he's a gorilla. He's a stupid
Gorillas will fuck somebody up on accident.
But they're
That's
like
why that's why they're the kill Harambe. He didn't know what he was doing. He was just trying to help that little kid. And he was fucking him up because he's like,
the world
fucking,
hasn't been right since.
no, it hasn't.
He's this stupid stinking ape, man. Like
R.I.P.
we could outsmart him, you know.
R.I.P.
And
Harambe.
Can the
We
humans?
can, you can't.
Can the humans get any assistance? Like, do I have like a dog that can help me?
No.
No, it's 100
100
men. That's the whole point. That's the whole
Okay.
point.
I just want to know all the parameters, you know. And is this at night? Is it in a cold climate? You know, like there's certain
Why
things
the
that go
fuck
into
would
it.
a gorilla be in the cold?
Maybe he got out of the zoo. You know, he's got out of the Cincinnati Zoo. It gets cold there in the winter. I want to know the grounds of this fight. If I'm going to book this fight and properly score this fight, I need to know where it's going to go down. I think 100 humans destroyed a gorilla. I really do.
You're correct.
I think if we go in, especially if we can fight all at once or even in waves of 5, like hockey, changing lines. If we can send in the checking line, you know, and then we go with our top line right after that, we can take them.
No, you're losing that way. You need all 100 swarming. You send 5 at a time, you're getting fucked up.
You just need to circle them and pounce. It's fine. You
Y'all
send the
ever
dumb
watch,
ones first, aka Leon.
Hey, that gorilla will be chewing me for a long time. The rest of y'all can just go ahead and do what you got to do.
Send Leon and people from the SEC, and then we can finish it up.
Well, that's what I'm saying. People from the South, people from the SEC, they're going to kill the gorilla. The Pac-12 fell apart. You send a bunch of Pac-12 people, that gorilla is going to decimate them. But you send a bunch of Auburn kids, they're going to kill that gorilla. There's no doubt in my mind.
We're sacrificing the SEC kids.
Shit, if you send a bunch of Eagle
They're going to be
fans,
loaded on fucking Natty Light and Zens. They're going head first.
I want to cut this number. You give me 25 Eagle fans, and that gorilla's dead. That gorilla's got his throat slit if you got 25 Eagles fans.
I might take a gorilla.
Against Eagles fans?
Eagles fans are dumb too.
25.
Yeah, but they're
stupid.
Have you seen that movie, The Breakup?
They're gonna run one by one. They're not gonna swarm it. They're all gonna run directly into it.
Have you seen that movie, The Breakup?
Half of them are gonna
yes, underrated movie.
Fucking light bulb.
Yes.
Remember when Vince Vaughn goes, you know, we're talking about Polacks without a goddamn future. Those are Eagles fans, except they're Italian, without a goddamn future. Those are Eagle fans. They're going to come at them. Yes, I didn't make the slur. Vince Vaughn said it. I love the Polish. Krakow is a beautiful city. I just watched a documentary on it. But yes, those are
Eagles fans.
They don't have
Eagles fans aren't smart in a fight. I went to years ago. I went to a Redskins Eagles game, and after the game, we were walking back to the car or whatever, and we see this Eagles fan. He's clearly drunk, and he's kind of getting into it with a Redskins fan. And the Redskins fan's like with his friends or whatever. These two guys are one-on-one about to fight. And why are you playing that button? All right, so
because you said the R word 3 times. You racist.
That might be. They were the Redskins. They were the Redskins back then. That was their name. I'm just calling them their name.
That's what it said about them in my day. We called them that word.
That might be eventually, the Washington fan was smarter than the Eagles fan. He was like, all right, this guy is completely wasted, and I'm not going to fuck him up. And he walks away. The Eagles fan kicks what it was like a case of beer. I guess he thought it was empty. He kicks it. It was full of beer bottles. Beer bottles get fucking flying. They hit a dude's car, hit another guy. And so, like, after that happened, there was like a Redskin, one of his friends' cars or whatever. So now this guy like probably almost died. And again, if it would have been a Giants fan or something, they probably would have killed the dude. But yeah, he almost, and he's still like, when the guy approached him, he's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" He's like, "Let me finish with him first, and then I'll get to you." And it's like, this dude is huge. So I don't think the Eagles fans 25. I am not, just based on that experience, I am not picking them.
Yeah, I've seen Mike.
They're going to run one by one straight into them.
Video.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, yeah.
Remember, Eagle fan though, a lot of them went to Penn State, and as this video shows me, Penn State people aren't very smart either.
The fuck is that?
That was
What?
a lot of severe thunderstorms were in Pennsylvania over the last couple of days, knocked out a lot of electricity. And this video is from State College, Pennsylvania. I'll play it again. A porta potty
Was that a
knocked over.
referee?
Well, I guess they were dressed as a referee. Maybe they were having a storm party, I guess. But porta potty absolutely ran over this Penn State student like it was a Ohio State football player. I love that he tried to put his shoulder into the porta potty, which there's certain things I want to try to like stop from flying
Hey, man,
around. A
you
porta
just
potty
brace
is
him.
not one. Can you imagine like just the shit, literal shit that's flying out of this porta potty as it's flying around?
Well, it's either let your face hit it or brace yourself.
Or go the other way. But speaking of literal shit, when's the last time either one of you ate at Cracker Barrel?
A couple years.
It's been a few years.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it's
I've
literally.
had a gift card for over 2 years.
Me too.
So it's been that long.
Cracker Barrel sales are going down the roof because of these two sitting on gift cards. But the last time I went to a Cracker Barrel was like literally this one off of 95 right before you get back into Virginia, in North Carolina. My wife and I stopped there a couple years ago. Well, she stopped there because she was hungry and I didn't want that slop. And literally, the guy comes over. Oh God, no! Guy comes over to the table. I guess he's the manager to check on everything. And literally, I didn't eat. I got like a sweet tea, and she got like a meal. And the guy goes, "Oh, it was good. Did you get enough?" He said it like 3 times. It's not like the quality of was the meal good. It was like, "Did you get enough? You fat fucks." That was the kind of inclination. It's the people that go there. You just put the slop tray in front of them and let them go. Well, apparently, I guess they're trying to class things up from their usual, rednecks and people on WIC. And so they decided to, hey, let's make this place look better. And this is what the new Cracker Barrel looks like. As you're looking around here, you can see that the shit has been taken off the walls.
I was saying, it looks the same.
All the kitschy bullshit has been taken off the walls.
No,
and
there's still some on there.
Yeah, 98% of it's gone, and people online are pissed. Outkick wrote an article about it, and that's right in their target demographics wheelhouse because nobody likes to give.
They're livid. They're livid.
Nobody likes to give Cracker Barrel waitresses shit, like people that just left church on a Sunday. And they were livid about, not having the stupid tractors and kitschy shit and signs that say home family love and shit like that on the wall. I think it looks better.
I didn't notice the difference, to be honest. I've always liked their breakfast. I just don't feel like waiting all day to get a table.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll take you boys to Cracker Barrel if we can get the ratings up on this show.
Shit, we both got gift cards. So.
you can treat each other. Well, we can pay for that visit to Cracker Barrel by using some of these new gold machines in China. I'm going to play this 10-second clip and then I'll tell you about it.
大众点击。所有的东西基本上是给下一步了。对，下一步。
So in China, they have ATMs where you can take gold, your jewelry and stuff, drop it in there. It gets it super, super hot, melts it down, and you get paid out for it. Now, in theory, this is a good idea. In a high-functioning society like China, this is a good idea. You put one of these bitches on Broad Street in Richmond. How many crackheads are breaking into houses to steal grandma's wedding ring to drop into that thing so they can buy another pack of Skoal?
Oh, I thought they would just try and take the machine.
Oh, well, I guess you could take the people do steal ATMs. Well, I guess the fact that, this thing's got like heating element that could, incinerate you might be a
never stopped a crack or a meth head before.
That's very true. That's very true. How fast
their skin is immune to all that.
How fast would the crime rate go up if you put one of these in like Washington DC, like Southeast DC? How fast would the crime rate just accelerate?
Probably not as much as you think it would.
Oh, dude, there would be so
It's
many
just
people.
the same people that are already committing crimes that would do it. So
I think you would have more people though. I think it would be like teenagers and stuff too, like people stealing their mom's jewelry. Yeah, fuck you. You won't give me any money to go to the movies? Fine, I don't even know kids go to the movies anymore.
but
Drop it in there. Look at Chris. You don't think he would have melted down somebody's gold to get some cigarettes? Probably does now.
this shit would get rejected. This is not real gold.
Go. Have you seen that movie? I'm gonna get you, sucker. And they got the fake gold and it's green like all around your neck. That's what Chris would be trying to put in the machine. It's gold plated. Yeah. All right. Before we got here,
Hey, real quick. Can we talk about Mel Kiper? I meant to talk about it earlier. We were talking about Shedeur.
I'm unfamiliar with this.
I don't know why it
story,
just
but
came
go on,
out.
please.
I just think it's funny. So you weren't here last week, but I was giving my yearly mini rant about how draft grades are stupid. So Mel Kiper was throwing a hissy fit for 3 days about Shedeur. And then the whole thing with where Reese Davis had to calm him down or whatever. And then the Browns finally draft him after they drafted Dylan Gabriel. Mel Kiper gave one team an A+ on his draft grades. Guess who that was?
I'm going to say the Cleveland Football Browns.
The Cleveland Browns, which just goes to show you how dumb draft grades are, because he thinks Shedeur Sanders should have been the number 2, number 3 draft pick. If that's the case, if he's that good, then that Dylan Gabriel pick is trash. Therefore, it's not an A+ draft. So what is Mel Kiper doing? He's just so butthurt that Shedeur fell that much.
He
whatever
also
team drafted him was getting an A+.
had that rant where he said that NFL GMs don't know what they're doing.
That's what I'm talking about. Like Reese Davis was like, "Come on," he's like, "Come on, just because they didn't pick the guy that you wanted doesn't mean blah blah blah." He's like, but like the whole 3 days, he was just kept like crying about it. Like,
Do we think that he? You know what? Though? I give him credit for doubling down on his stance because it's easy to flip at that point. But if he doubled down on it and gave him an A, but maybe he feels that hey, it's a value thing because what round do you go? 5th round.
Yeah.
If you got
it probably is a value.
A first round talent in the 5th round.
But this is the thing about the draft. People make too big of a deal about anything. Wherever you get drafted, that's where you deserve to get drafted. Because what pick was he? Do we know?
144.
144, I think. Yeah.
So you were passed up 143 times. That means you deserve to be pick 144. That's all that means. Wherever you get picked is where you deserve. So the whole hoopla. We'll find out if he should have went earlier or shouldn't have been drafted or was drafted where we'll find out when they play the games.
Which, by the way, one more thing on the draft. Can we please, for the love of fuck, shorten the time between the goddamn picks? It shouldn't take 4 hours. Shorten it some more. It shouldn't take 4 hours to have 32 picks in the first round. I get it. It's ESPN and everything's for TV and
TV show.
It's not even really the picks, though, because the picks are always – they're introducing picks, and 2 teams from them are on the clock because they have to get somebody in Germany to announce the pick or somebody up there to announce it that probably has never read off a cue card before. So it's a whole presentation. It's not – like the picks are in already. They just got to be read.
And then on Saturday, like you think he would speed through. No, they still got guys. Oh, this is the Browns head fan from Mogadishu, Somalia, with the 189th pick. And blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, just say the fucking, you know what? Just run it across the bottom of the screen. Didn't Jokic get picked during a Taco Bell commercial? Just run it across the bottom of the screen. That's all we need. That's all we need. All right, speaking of something that we don't need real quick before we get out of here. You guys like Utz? Potato chips. I love Utz. Or is it Utes? I heard people say Utes. Okay, that's
decent. Some of them are good.
They have a new flavor here. They have lemonade flavored chips. And this is going to benefit proud partner use there is Alex's Lemonade Stand. It's like a kid's lemonade stand that went viral. I know they do a bunch of stuff every year. I believe the money goes to like childhood. I think like childhood cancer and stuff. So a good cause behind this. I love when brands do good like this, but I don't know how I feel about a lemonade potato chip.
Oh, speaking of weird foods, you gonna pay up that bet, Scotty?
Yeah.
Right.
I'll do it next week.
Yeah,
forgot about it. Huh?
Do you have milk?
I'm not drinking any milk right now. I had some bourbon before the show and a beer. I'm not
All right,
drinking
so
milk.
Next week, milk and cereal for Scott.
We gotta do it like early. We gotta do it early, like to open the show.
All right.
Yeah. We'll do it right off the top next week, and then you can chase it with some lemonade chips. Would
They're
you
probably
eat
not
this?
bad. The lemonade chips, I'd eat them. I
What
bet you're not
the-
that bad.
I don't know what the flavor. I don't know why. I look at this and I think lemon pledge. I feel like I would taste lemon pledge like in my mouth.
Probably tastes
think
like
so.
a weird margarita. Salt and the lemon. I don't know.
And you could also have a sandwich to go with this as well. I don't know if you saw Witch. They have an Avo Witch sandwich where the bun of the sandwich is now avocado. This is
It's
actually
very
a real
squishy.
sandwich.
I don't know how that's going to hold up.
No,
but I
it's
would
not
eat
going to hold up well at all. But I would eat
I'd
it.
try.
You got to eat it with a fork and knife. But avocado with everything seasoning, it looks like pretty good.
Sadly, though, Chris, you will not be able to get one around here because, according to Richmond Business Sense, the last 2 local witches closed back earlier in April. So,
No, it says they go
Oh,
dark.
fiddlesticks.
It says they go dark. That might be racist.
by the way, witch, they can piss every part of my ass. I used to live near a witch, and have you guys ever gone to one?
What's the one? It's witch and potbellies. I always get them mixed up. Okay, I got it.
That's like saying you get a Ferrari mixed up with a Winnebago. Like what?
No, it's 2 fucking overrated sandwich shops.
But Witch does a bit where you fill out your sandwiches on like a bag and then hand it to them.
Yeah,
and
that's dumb.
It's so dumb and it's so wasteful. And I went in there once during the height of like lunch rush hour, and I get I don't have kids, but I get there's a time and place when you got to teach your kids how to be an adult. I get that. But during the height of lunch rush is not when you start handing out bags to like your 3 kids and giving them the pencil and holding up the line. Okay, Parker, what do you want? Okay, Zayden, do you want color in the pickle? It's like, get him the fuck out of the way. I gotta get back to work. I want my sandwich. It's a stupid concept that Witch had. Everyone else is like, order your sandwich on your app and pick it up. Hey, hand us a fucking paper bag with your old school what's that Iowa test bubble filled in so we can make a sandwich for you. Get the fuck out of my face, Witch. I hope you burn.
We can see you scrolling on your phone, Chris. Not anymore.
I know he's
You look down.
Still am.
he's very engaged here. Lastly, before we get out of here,
You're ranting about sandwich shops. Why the fuck do I care?
Yeah.
I like to rant. Lastly, before we get out of
Witch
here,
was a dumb name. That's why I never tried it.
yeah. Chris, you're the only one with a child. What's the most expensive thing of yours that your child has ever destroyed, or most expensive thing in general that your child has ever destroyed, besides your bank account?
He hasn't destroyed as much stuff as my dog has chewed up shoes and stuff that were fairly expensive. So he's not too bad. He might have broken a tablet back in the day.
Okay, so a tablet. So we're looking at a few $100, $700-800 iPad or something.
Yeah,
Okay.
Fuck no. God damn.
I don't know.
Got it for $100 for my job used.
Okay. Well, at least he's better than this kid. So this is a painting, believe it or not. I forget the name of this painting, but this is a painting, and this painting cost $56 million. Now, I'm not a art connoisseur of any sort, but this is in a Dutch museum, and apparently a child scratched this Mark Rothko painting. It's called Gray, Orange on Maroon, number 8 is the name of the painting. It was made in
Number 8,
1916.
and it's worth $56 million.
Art is so fucking stupid.
Okay, prove to me, take me to court and prove to me that this is worth that much money.
Well, anything can be worth that much money if you find someone to buy it, you know?
Yeah.
It's
worth what
nobody's bought
somebody
it.
will pay for it.
But it's still hanging up.
Your draft stock that's fucking stupid.
$56 million. What do you do? How do you discipline that kid? They just ruined he not only put you in debt for the rest of your life.
Anything because it's fucking stupid, and that's what insurance is for. Eat shit. They got a personal lines, I'm sure, on that thing. There's nothing you do to that kid because that shit is. It's for fucking. No,
This kid's.
no.
They can They can turn that and say this scratch.
Museum on fucking fire if they tried to sue me for that.
They can just say, "Oh, look at this artistic scratch. It's worth $62 million now."
Yeah, there you go.
Like,
it added some character to it. $56 million for this. Not only that kid would have put you into bankruptcy, himself, and the next 2 generations after him.
No,
most likely.
I'm lighting that whole fucking building and everybody in it on fire.
I just don't understand. Like, what is this supposed to be? It
Nothing.
Looks like
it's fucking stupid. I can do that.
It looks
It's
like a
not
Game
art.
Boy. It looks like a Game Boy. Look at
It's not art. That's fucking dumb. Art is dumb. God,
did that gorilla that's fighting 100 men? Is he up on the painting that's next to it here on the bottom left? Is that a gorilla's face?
The gorilla could have painted that shit.
Probably did.
Yeah. All right.
You pissed me off at the end of the show.
That's probably why the kid that's why the kid scratched it, because it reminded him of a painting he did. He's like, how'd that get in here?
I was trying to sign it.
That makes me so happy. That we've upset Chris on the way out. It makes me so happy. I live for this. It only took 131 minutes, or no, it's not 131 minutes. It's an hour 31 minutes.
All right. Well, that's one way to do math.
Yeah, well, I went to school in Ohio. Leave me alone. I didn't even get to that story. I'll have to say that next week about the Ohio Uber driver. All right, make sure to join us right back here. Well, join me back here Saturday morning. I'm still oscillating or whatever, something aiding between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m.
Menstruating, yeah.
I was in that park in that park in Seattle. But yes, still either 9 a.m. or 11 a.m. We'll figure it out. But next episode of Getting Loose with Leon, the motor racing stuff there.
Wait.
What?
Real quick. Is that what the story was supposed to say that you sent in the rundown that we didn't do? But it was supposed to say menstruation?
No, it was masturbation.
I said maturation.
Oh, I spelled it wrong?
I was like, I thought it was like a bunch of old people at the park and people were mad.
No. No. There's a story, well, we didn't get to it, but people in Seattle are upset over, oh yeah, I did spell it wrong, rampant masturbation in a local park. So yeah, this is from the Independent, which is a UK paper, but their US news wing there. Apparently a bunch of people have been cranking it there in a park in Seattle.
Yeah,
so.
I was confused, so I didn't click that because I'm like, who cares about old people in a park?
Doing Tai Chi.
Well, that's what I put under it. That's what I put under it in the rundown. Chris, have you been to Seattle? You know,
I did not look at the rundown at all today.
As you do most weeks, that's okay.
Yeah.
But yes, make sure to join us back here Saturday morning for Getting Loose with Leon. We'll
maybe he'll actually pay attention to the comments.
Yes, maybe.
This week.
We got NASCAR rolling into Texas, and then we got F1 going down to Miami. So the already annoying celebrity walk on the grid there on ESPN will be even more annoying with every B-list celebrity there. And of course, Saturday is also Kentucky Derby Day. So big weekend of racing of all varieties there. So make sure to tune in. We'll have some thoughts on that. So till next time, boys, keep your stick on the ice. We'll see you then.